Sibile sinamkele nisabukele Kids News. Inkcubeko kaloku luhlobo thina ma-Afrika senza ngayo izinto, isinxibo, ukuxhentsa, ukutya njalo njalo. Nanjengoko esibhiyozela ubuntu bethu, imidlalo ke yenye yendlela yokugcina amasiko nenkcubeko yethu. Into ethi ke nee-toys esidlala ngazo neencwadi esizifundayo zidlala indima enkulu ekuqaqambiseni amasiko nezithetho zethu. Uninzi lwabantwana ke bayakuthanda ukudlala ngoonodoli, babanxibise, babakame, babahlambe, yonke loo nto. Kodwa ke bona abantwana bendlu yemnyama yama-Afrika abalifumananga ithuba lokudlala ngoonodoli abafana nabo ngebala. Yiloo nto kanye ke namhlanje kusungulwe unodoli omnyama ngebala ogama lingu-Akiki. Umsunguli ke wabanodoli ulapha enkqubeni ukuncokola nathi uFatima. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good as well. Awesome. I mean, you know, toys stimulate a child's upbringing. I want to know which areas do they focus on? Which aspects are addressed?
Okay, with toys, depending on the toys, all the way from toddler stage to adult stage. So it depends on, one, the toys that work with our motor skills, the toys that bring out your creativity, the toys that, in terms of giving confidence, your imagination, creativity. So toys that teach us in a wide range. So it's important for kids to play with toys. At the same time, playtime is just as important for kids because it gives the children an opportunity to interact and to engage with the bigger world. Because how else do they do that? It's almost like when you see kids at creche and you see them playing with each other, and it's also problem solving right there. The arguments they have in the field, and they learn to interact, conflict resolution. It all happens at the playfield. Yeah.
And you know, children, they like to play with toys a lot. How do toys help shape their identity?
Toys, for me, I feel in terms of identities, when they play with and creativity, it's important for kids to see themselves in the toys. I found that was lacking earlier. Now, at least we have a bit of representation, but the representation is still not that strong in the market. So especially for African kids, you need to read African stories, you need to have African toys and stuff that looks like you. So when they see a doll, it is like, Mommy, she looks like me, or she looks like my friend, and she looks like,
And you've actually created a doll that looks like them, Akiki. What inspired this beautiful black doll? Okay,
Akiki, initially my inspiration was my daughter, because when she was growing up, I also felt there was nothing in the market that that drew me to her, because in terms of having a doll that does not have the small figure, because I was like, you need a child to play with a child, basically. So they need to see themselves in that doll. So I came up with Akiki as a concept. Her hair is also just an afro, which a lot of our kids also ask us, because initially they see their friends with straight hair and we need to comb their hair and tight. So it becomes a challenge. So it's a matter of just embracing you, and also for the other people as well to understand us in terms of our hair and our skin, and it doesn't become like a foreign concept. It's something that is integrated into society.
And you mentioned that, you know, somebody has got to have a figure. You know, there are standards of beauty, especially in our societies. I mean, I want to know, what does this doll specifically, how does she break the boundaries of beauty, the stereotypes that we have today about the beauty and all of that?
Yeah, I think also as parents, we need to keep on reinforcing and affirming our kids. So my one thing was, I didn't want, because we all can't be size 0. I'm not size 0, I'm never going to get there. So especially for kids to be able to see themselves and to see a fuller figure, because you don't get kids with the Coca-Cola bottle figure. And then I don't know why we aspire to that, given that we're all different, but we need to keep on communicating, affirming our kids and teaching them that it's okay to be who you are, because the way God made us, we're all uniquely made. We all can't be the same size.
So I want to know, I mean, how can parents have this conversation with their kids? Because, I mean, they buy those dolls to them, no matter the cultural background, it doesn't matter. So how can parents have this kind of conversation with their kids?
I think parents need to be more conscious, especially when buying toys at the same time. And then also, when you see the child playing with the toy, you also interact. I think sometimes we feel we're too grown up, you don't want to get to the child's level. But it's very important when the kids are playing, you get to their level at the same time. Try and understand. Like with kids, I'd ask them, why do you like Akiki? Others would like her skin, others would like her hair. Others would just like the fact that, you know, she's a brown color like me. So it's always that constant interaction with kids, because their mind is churning a long time throughout when they're playing. So that's the best time to interact with them because you get like a genuine, authentic response.
Oh, wow.
From the kids, yeah.
Very interesting. I mean, storytelling is an integral part of your work. Can you share with us some of the sessions that you have? Because you've also, I mean, you have books that you have for children. Can you tell us more about that?
I think reading is very important. Reading, literacy, and also writing. And how do we get to encourage kids like that? It comes out and reflects out in the stories that we read to them. I think we tend to want our kids to read, but we don't want to read the stories to them. So we have to make it as interesting and interactive as possible, because once the kid starts enjoying that session of story time and they realize it's in a book, I can get this story, then I can start reading for myself. And then the constant practice, because it's not a one-sided thing. You know, you can't buy books and just give your kids books to read. You also need to be participating. So storytelling, I think, is one of the important things that we need to reinforce, and not only in schools, also outside the school environment, because then they learn that reading is also pleasurable.
That's
it's not just a
interesting.
school activity. Yeah.
Oh, yes. And Akiki is actually the main character.
Yeah.
Tell us, I mean, how does she help kids, you know, with the whole heritage thing? How can they learn from her character?
Okay, Akiki, she's an African girl, so her roots are African. And as they say, as a brown girl, as soon as you appear there, you must be African.
Of course.
So yeah, so I do a lot in terms of the clothes that she wears, because heritage is like the beliefs, the practices of culture that we do. So in terms of the food, that is part of culture, language is part of culture. So I try and interact that. The countries she travels across Africa, we try and pick things. Basically, it's for kids to embrace the continent. At the end of the day, we're all African. So we need to identify with that. So in terms of heritage and culture, our African roots are very strong. And we need to realize and embrace that, because once you step out of this continent, you are an African.
Oh, wow.
So do you know what that means, being an
Wow.
African? Yeah.
I mean, what do you hope to achieve? Because a lot of kids, you know, they love these adventures, you know, playing dolls and reading. What do you hope to achieve?
My thing is, I keep on saying, I'd love to raise or to contribute to raising independent, proud African kids, whereby they stand up in the pride of being African. And that way it also inspires them. They have aspirations as Africans to do better.
Oh, so quickly wrap it up. You know, where can people get hold of you? I'm sure they want to know about the books and the dolls, and where can they get it?
Thank you. Or you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Akiki Dolls, or at my website, www.akikidolls.com.
Alrighty. Nisivele ke babukeli okwangoku ke, I mean, before I wrap it up, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you all the best for everything that you're doing. Ake make sithi tsigqatha evenkeleni xa sibuya sisaniphethe lokuninzi.